You're fired. You have cancer. I want a divorce. Your child needs some mental health care. A lot of those phrases are life altering and life changing. And it's how you approach them that will not guarantee, but make the journey a lot easier. So this month, on February 21st, I will mark my 5 years in remission after being diagnosed with bilateral breast cancer in 2017. So I will be having a lot to celebrate. Plus, my new book came out February 7th. And this has been also 5 years in the making because I started writing this when I first got diagnosed. It started as a way for me to put my feelings on paper, and it was cathartic. And I never set out to write a book, but my daughter got me a book, and I started reading it, and I thought, you know what? If this person can share her story about her journey, I probably have a pretty good story to tell too. So I started compilating everything, and then I went back and then I rewrote it because since I was writing in the middle of it while I was working and going through the chemo and going through all the changes in my body and in my family and in everything around me, I realized that I was not thinking very clearly. There is such thing as chemo brain. And so I went back and I rewrote everything. And I would revisit my chapters, I guess, if you want to call them that. They weren't chapters in; they were just pieces of paper and journaling. And I'd go back and I thought, "Wow, what are you thinking? What were you thinking? Why don't we go deeper? We're going to dive deeper into what you were thinking." So I would go in there and be a little more descriptive and think about what I was feeling and think about what the sky looked back then and think about, the people around me, what they were going through. So I rewrote it again. So it went through about 4 different rewrites before I handed it over to, actually, I shared it with several of my friends, but my editor, Fran Ford Tucker, who now lives in Phoenix, I sent everything to her, and this was during COVID. And so we communicated via Zoom. Now, Fran and I have known each other for a long, long time. We had similar situations in our lives. And so we had a lot of things in common. And as women, we had, a lot of things in common with children, right? And so I would send her everything, and I just started feeding her, chapter after chapter after chapter. And I was going pretty fast because I had already accumulated a lot of chapters, and some of which, by the way, were not included in the book. And so it took us a while to put it all together. And finally, it's here. I bought a lot of books, so I have them here in my office and available just to buy for purchase. I'm going to have several book signings. I've already had 3 book signings, one at our Viva Chevrolet Women's Luncheon that was quite a success. I was able to sell several books there. Remember that all the money raised through these books goes directly back into the foundation because the foundation paid for this. And the sale of this book is not to make a living because you really don't make any money selling books, but it's to make a life and maybe make a difference in somebody's life down the road. I also had a so thank you to Viva Chevrolet for hosting me and hosting that beautiful event where we heard from 4 different exceptional women, their stories, including Fran, my editor. And I had another book signing at Kendra Scott, and that was, a different demographic, a different, this is mostly all women, although I did have a few men come in there and buy books and purchase books for their wives. And so I'm very grateful to Eliana Silva there at Kendra Scott. And I had a book signing recently at Italian Kitchen with Andres and his mom, Alonso, Mrs. Alonso. And that was, so I'm going to be honest with you all, that was really very, very special for me because the other book signings were more like a presentation. I wasn't able to read bits and pieces of the book. And at this more intimate surrounding at Italian Kitchen for dinner, where we got to have some red wine and some hors d'oeuvres and some quality time. And, it was a little dark and the candles were lit, and it was just very conducive to opening up and sharing. And it was really special because that's what I envisioned a book signing to be. I got up and thanked everybody and explained the process and what we've been through, like I'm doing right now. And then I read from three different chapters, and it's just bits and pieces. I'm not going to read the whole chapter because it's 43 chapters and Team Estela, the prologue and the epilogue. So it's only on 196 pages. It's a quick read. It's an easy read, and I promise I will, well, I can't promise. I hope that I can make you smile, think, and maybe cry a little bit. But I want you that when you read this book, you will be inspired to face any of life's challenges with a smile, like I did. I'm going to be honest; it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy going public and being very public about my journey. I shared a lot of things on Channel 7. And if you all followed along my process of about 6 months, and, for a long time anyway, you saw the changes in me. My eyelashes fell off. I wore fake eyelashes for a long time. I wore different wigs because I went bald. All my hair fell off. And you just saw me transition on TV. And, I appreciate you for following along. And I hope you learned something from me. But every day, with my eyelashes and my wigs and and everything that was going on in my body and in my soul and in my mind, came with a smile. So I hope you all noticed that. So this book, I'm nervously excited about it because this book is about some of the things that you all saw in me and the people around me that my kids or the people that that were sitting next to me through all this, the changes that they went through and the changes that I went through and the stuff that I decided to share and open up about. Well, this is a stuff that could only be done in a book. It couldn't really be shared through a news story or through video. And so I hope you all, enjoy this. And let me read Chapter 7. So I'm in between, talking about what we're doing here today. I'm going to read you a little bit of a chapter. And Chapter 7 says, "But I floss every day. I choose to have a good day, every day. It's hard to wake up in a bad mood and have to put on a smile. I choose to wake up feeling blessed, happy, and ready to face the day with a positive attitude. But the day after my biopsies, choosing a good day seemed unreachable. I couldn't muster enough energy. I hadn't slept well, but I didn't want to sleep. Exercise usually makes me feel good, but I didn't feel like going to the gym. I wasn't hungry or tired or happy or sad. I was feeling anxious and out of sorts. My breasts were throbbing. I was restless. I just didn't know what to do with myself. I headed to the kitchen to make a cup of coffee. I added an extra scoop knowing I would need the extra caffeine to face the day. I stood in front of the coffee machine, nearly entranced, watching the brown water slowly drip into the carafe. The steady stream was soothing, so the ring of my cell phone startled me, even though I knew the call was coming. And this was when I got the first call from my doctor after the biopsies, and you know what happened next. So this is really a deep dive into what I was going through, and some of the people around me. I used to belong to a cycling club called Las Picosas, and I dedicated a chapter to them because they set up a little booth at one of these cycling runs. So I appreciate that. It talks about some accidents that I had along the way. It talks about some things in here that might surprise you a little bit, and but don't judge me. We're all human, and go through our things. And I just want to let you know that this is real. This was pretty raw sometimes, and I just hope that you like it. So there's a little bit of Spanish in here, español, porque soy completamente bilingüe. I did do get really my start on TV, on Spanish language TV, doing news. So,
Happy Valentine's Day, my love.
Aw, happy Valentine's Day. Flowers, same as last year.
They're red flowers, your favorite.
Well, so is a truck to go with my boots.
what's your VivaStyle? It's what you want it to be. Lo hago también en español. So chapter 33 is Hearts on Our Sleeves. Cancer encouraged me to celebrate everything, especially the gift of another day. The infusion center at Texas Oncology looked especially bright and festive that February. And this is February now, 5 years later. Red and pink hearts dangled from the ceiling, celebrating the month of love and friendship. With renewed love in my life and my heart filled with promise and joy, the Valentine's theme was a welcome one for me. The noise from the TV was low, but I could still hear the chatter. Beeping sounds from the IV machine signaled when to switch out the meds. A week before February 14th, there was more activity than usual. No one wanted to be hooked up to an IV on that special day. The nurses were busy with patients. I noticed a few smells from the fragrant perfumes and colognes the men and women sprayed on that morning. Love was in the air. So I talk about, they asked me, so what is this book about? Well, this book is about love. All the different love relationships, because I learned about the different loves. You just think that there's all kinds of loves. You love your coworkers, you love your neighbor, you love your kids, you love your spouse, you love your partner, you love your parents, you love your siblings, and everything is important, and all those loves matter, and they fill your heart. And so I talk about all those things and how all those different kinds of loves filled my heart and lifted me through this journey. And they continue to do so right now. And so I worked with a hybrid company out of Virginia, Mascot Publishing, who helped me put together this book. And basically, I really wrote everything. Fran and I wrote it and edited it and just turned it over to them. And they helped with the cover, with the back cover, gathering some quotes and writing some beautiful copy for me to make it sellable, right? And to make it attractive for you all to buy. And so it's been a journey. I continue to stay in contact with Mascot Publishing and obviously Fran and the people around me to tell them, hey, the book is in. They've all finished reading it now. Write a review. If write a nice review. Don't tell me about a bad review. If you have a bad review of my book, call me and tell me. Just don't publish it. But no, I'm just kidding. But if there's something that I maybe left out, or maybe something that I should have included, and I don't know, maybe I'll write something down the road. But a place to anchor. It's like how did we come up with that? How did we come up with the title? Well, I've believed that I have as an anchor that I was for 37 years. You're the anchor of a newscast, right? That's who they turn to for the news. But as an anchor, you're an anchor of your family, at your workplace, and you have to anchor yourself, or hunker down on your faith, on your family, on your friends and strangers, to get you through not just a cancer journey, but just about any kind of journey, because you certainly need your faith. I never asked God, why me? I just asked him to show me why me, and he did. He didn't even have to hit me over the head with it. I mean, it was just so obvious and so clear to me that I had a platform where I could talk to people about the challenges of dealing with cancer and getting through cancer, and now through this book. So it's relying on so much more than yourself, because we don't do it alone. Nobody does anything alone. And honestly, a team just helps you get through it. And there's at the last part of the book called Team Estela. And these are some chapters that the people around me wrote about the changes they felt and they saw in me, and the changes that they went through themselves. And my daughter's chapter is called Garlic, Shrimp, and Buttered Biscuits. My middle son's contribution is she makes it look easy. He had just started and was going through his obtaining his doctorate of physical therapy, and so he was going through some challenges as well. And then my youngest son, who was 13 when I first was diagnosed, he talks about transformation. And so, everybody got to, my older brother talked about corazón roto and how, what he felt like when he heard the diagnosis. I have a section in here from one of my son's friends who came in one day and said, Mrs. Hernandez, I'd like you to shave my head off and shave my hair to tell women that they're beautiful, that they don't have to feel bad because they're bald. Sandra Terrazas, she is a lifesaver. She's the one who found my lump after I got a tetanus shot. And she talks about things happening for a reason. And so there's different people who have contributed to this book, the people who love me and I love. And they were open to writing a little something about themselves, and they opened up their hearts too. So I appreciate this as well from them. Journalism, Cancer, and Rewriting Mi Vida as a Latina on the Border. So this is what it is, a place to anchor. It's available on Amazon. It's available at Barnes & Noble and Mascot Publishing, Mascot Books. And I have some here as well. I'll be sharing some new dates for book signings, and I'll be seeing you around. And I really hope that this could be maybe a conversation starter for you all at home who are going through some challenges, or for women who have just been newly diagnosed with cancer, or anybody going through a life-altering event. I hope you enjoyed this little time that I spent with you today, sharing a little bit of my story, a few of my little chapters and stuff that I share with you all. I hope you enjoy the 43 chapters in this book, 296 pages, and it comes with pictures too. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time, and I'll keep you posted on the next book signing. Meantime, please like and share Viva Auto Group Facebook page, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day.
El sueño de un hombre ya es tradición. Es el legado de Viva y Fiesta Auto Group. El legado comenzó en el corazón del Paso con la primera automotriz hace más de 40 años. Viva y Fiesta Auto Group cuenta con 16 concesionarias aquí en todo El Paso, Las Cruces, Albuquerque y Santa Fe.
Somos Viva Dodge en El Paso y Las Cruces.
Somos Viva Ford.
Somos Viva Chevy.
Viva Mazda.
Viva Nissan.
Y Santa Fe. Somos Fiesta Hyundai en Santa Fe.
Somos Fiesta Volkswagen en Albuquerque.
Somos Viva Toyota.
Somos Fiesta Subaru en Albuquerque.
Somos Viva Kia en El Paso.
Y Fiesta Kia en Albuquerque.
Somos Viva Mitsubishi en El Paso.
Y Fiesta Mitsubishi en Albuquerque.
El Viva y Fiesta Auto Group establecen el estándar.
We'd like to hear what you think about today's conversation. Go to the Viva Auto Group Facebook page and like us. If you're in the market for a new or pre-owned car or truck, we invite you to choose a Viva vehicle.